What's going on, guys? Isaiah here from Goo Gaming, and today I have Logan here with me again, and we are going to go over what we think is going to be a Tier 1 deck going into the new format, and it's going to be MatchMech Adagnister. This deck we think has been pretty good for a while, but no one's really decided to play it, but the inclusion of the new MatchMech card, Circular, makes the deck really insane. So we're going to show you our deck list and see if you guys think the deck's good and see what it does in the current form. Let's go. Alright guys, so jumping right into the card by card for the Ignister deck, we have 3 red, 3 yellow, a purple, a green, a Dunmari, the other purple, I guess, black, a Gotchery, 3 Michu, 3 Sonnet Minings, 2 lands, the FA Fighting Spirit, and then Mathnet cards we'll talk about later. Playing a lot of hand traps because you don't need a lot of pieces to play this. You just run a bunch of hand traps, and I think that's a lot of the plus side to playing this deck. 3 Ashby Veiler, 3 Crow, 2 Ogre, 3 Imperm, and then obviously a Called By. And then the Mathnet cards is the 3 of the new Circular, a Sigma, a Subtraction, and then the Equation.
Yeah, so Circulars, obviously you could search both engines with Signet Mining, so that card kind of bridges the engines together. The reason Circular is so good is for cost, he can send a MatchMech monster from your deck to the graveyard to special summon himself from your hand. So you send Sigma, and what Sigma says is if you have nothing in your extra deck monster zone, you can special summon him from your graveyard, but you can only attack with one monster for the rest of the turn. But that's fine because your combo is an access code attack twice, and since that's only one monster attacking, you can still attack twice with your access code game. And then what Circular does is whenever a Mathmech special summon while he's on the board, he can add a Mathmech spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So you add the Monster Reborn. So just from Circular, you get 2 bodies on board, a Reborn spell in your hand, and then you can make the Mathmech rank 4 and search another extender because the Sigma gets banished if you don't overlay him into the XYZ for follow-up. And then you can search another extender. So you basically get 3 free bodies for 1 monster that and didn't even commit your normal summon. So it helps you play around Nibiru. It helps you play through multiple hand traps. Not only that, the cards are just insane because the Mathmech XYZ is a generic rank 4. So if you could get 2 level 4 like Adagnister monsters on the field, you can overlay them and search into your Mathmech engine if you need to. Plus the only thing they lock you into is Cybers. And obviously your whole entire deck is Cybers monsters, so you don't really care. They allow basically the Mathmech cards by themselves can be a double attack access code for 43, or it can be a 3000 attack Arrival Adagnister. Just by themselves. Just Circular by himself, no other cards. And that's pretty insane. And I think he really boosts the deck and just gives it a way higher ceiling than it had before.
After we finish the deck profile, we'll show you guys a combo with just Circular and what by itself it can do. But for your extra deck, you're just going to play, I cannot pronounce this guy's name, so you're going to play the Mathmech XYZ, Access Code, Cyber's Wicked, 2 of the Dark Infants, 1 of the Templars, Heat Soul. This card is just so good in the deck. Drawing cards is insane. Link Spider, 2 Splash Mage, the Arrival Cyberse, Transcode Talker, Update Jammer, Firewall, and Wind Pegasus Ignister.
The Firewall Dragon can be a second access code if you want. Some people don't, I'm going to be honest, a lot of the time you don't ever make Firewall, but there is combos that you can do if your hand's really good that you end on the Arrival Adagnister plus Firewall to bounce as an interruption, which is pretty cool. But you can cut him if you want to play the second access code. But it's definitely a flex spot for sure. Alternatively, you can play, if you do not want to play the spell, I think the spell's a little bit better in this deck as an extender to help push, because this is more of like a combo deck, but if you wanted to play the Mathmech in more of a controlling manner, instead of the Reborn spell, you can play the Super Fractorial. And this card is basically a revolt for the archetype. So basically you overlay the 2 Adagnisters, the Sigma and the Circular, into the rank 4 that we have in our extra deck there. Search the extender, special summon it, and then overlay, and then you would get to search the trap whenever you summon back Sigma. And basically you make this other Xyz in our extra deck here, and this card is basically a Trishula that you can make on your opponent's turn. Because you can detach materials and then use each effect for however many you detach, and you can send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, a monster they control, and a spell or traps they control. It's pretty crazy, but I found in this deck that I just preferred the extender, and the extender is just not as bad of a brick as the trap is going second and stuff. So that's why we did not play the trap in the main deck.
Alright guys, so now we're going to show you guys a combo with just MatchMech Circular and a bunch of bricks in your hand. I'm going to let Logan go through this so he can explain you the routes you got to take and show you everything you can do with just one Circular in your hand.
So yeah, this card's crazy. So we're going to use his effect. We're going to send Sigma for cost. So they can't like Ash Blossom this or anything, because Sigma gets sent for cost. So the only effect that you're doing is special summoning this card from your hand. So like actually plays through hand traps pretty well. Then you use Sigma because you do not have anything in your extra deck monster zone. So you special summon. And then whenever he special summon, Circular triggers. And it adds a spell or trap. This is when you can search the trap if you decide to play that card. But just an Agnister, I prefer the Reborn spell. But if you're wanting to play like a different type, like a MatchMech deck, or if you're wanting to play like a generic Cyberse deck, the trap is really good for an interruption. But we're not going to play that here. So you overlay these two. You don't technically have to play this rank 4, but I like it because it gives you follow-up because it puts Sigma back in your graveyard to be able to use it during the next turn to like try to access code kill your opponent. So you detach 2 here to search. So we search for. I have subtraction in here. The only reason I'm playing subtraction, so you can either play subtraction or addition. They both do the exact same thing except one targets a monster on the field and it loses 1,000 attack, and the other one targets a monster on the field and it gains 1,000 attack. You can do either one, but this one can help you out Winda, which is kind of cool. But like the other one also helps you out Winda, so I think it doesn't particularly matter which one you really use. This is just the one I have in the deck. So if you want to play addition, you can play addition, or if you want to play subtraction. So we minus the attack of the XYZ, so he's at 1,000. And we go into link 2. We go into Splash Mage here. And you can do a couple different things here. Like, let's say we wanted to go for like the access code OTK. We special summon this back. We would activate the MatchMech equation, bringing back another monster. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a level 4 or lower. Then you can link these two into Update Jammer. And then these two into Access Code Talker. Well, you could go into Transcode, then Access Code if you wanted to. Like, you could just link those two into that, bring this back, Effect, bring back Update, and then you could do this. This access code's a 53 attack twice, and you get 3 pops. But if we rewind real quick, like let's say you're going first. Let's see here. So we go back to the Splash Mage. Dueling Books being a little laggy. We have whatever monster, and we have the spell in our hand still. So we have whatever monster we rock off Splash Mage, the spell in our hand, right? So here you can go into. You could go into Heat Soul right here and still have an extender in your hand. So if you draw like an Achichi or whatever, you can try to do your Agnister combos. So you could go straight into Heat Soul there. You could also alternatively go into Transcode again. And then Transcode can bring back the update, or to bring back the splash. And then you can activate Equation, bring back something with a different attribute. They all have a different attribute than the guys you have on board, so it doesn't really particularly matter. And then you have 3 and then 3, so you can go into the Arrival for 3,000. So if you're playing against a deck that you just can't out-Arrival at 3k, wherever he is, there he is. Then like Flunderies or something, they have a really hard time outing this card even at 3,000. The MatchMech cards just go straight into that for 3,000, which is just good enough a lot of the time. So yeah, that's the combo for the MatchMech cards. I think they add a lot to the Agnister deck, and just really pushes the deck over the edge and allows it to play through hand traps. So I think it's a really good contender moving into the format.
Yeah, the big thing about this deck is you just get to play so many hand traps, and with including the MatchMech cards that are coming out, it allows you to play even more hand traps because you don't have to see as many cards in your hand. So like your one card combos get even stronger because you don't even have to use your normal summon for the MatchMech combo to do your whole thing. And then if you do get stopped, then you can just normal summon your Ignisters and do it anyway.
Exactly right. Like, and you can even do it backwards, right? Like if your opponent like Nibiru's you when you're going through your Adagnister combo, you just then you do MathMech combos and you can still end on a a rival even through Nib, which is a problem the deck had before if they didn't open a bunch of names.
Yeah, you literally just let the deck can play through a bunch of hand traps, so you just play through them all, and if they do have them all, then you just keep going.
I've been
Yeah,
playtesting this deck against Splight and against Tier Elements. Tier Elements is a little bit harder of a matchup, but if you go first, a lot of the time they don't play a lot of hand traps, so you can just arrival them and they lose. But the Splight deck I've played through like Imperm Nib before, and like a lot of the time, like a high impact and a low impact are still hard to play through, but two low impact hand traps you play through almost every time if you can get access to the Mathnet cards, and it just really shows how powerful this engine is in this deck and any Cyber's deck that you know can abuse these cards.
all right, guys. So that is our take on the Ignister MathMech deck that we both think is going to be a contender as a tier 1 deck in the new format post Power of the Elements. Don't be sleeping on it. I think the deck is really strong, especially being able to play so many hand traps as well as just making the arrival or a huge access code for game. So definitely don't be sleeping on it. Definitely watch out for it. But that'll be it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.